SYBSC semester 3rd, JDO2 132, paper 2, applied zoology first. We will continue the chapter first, sericulture. I am Dr. S.G. Suryavanshi, head department of the zoology, and we will continue the sericulture. Today's point is post-harvest processing of cocoons. Post-harvest processing of cocoons, this point is divided into the two parts for the easy convenience. A part is the stippling, sorting, storage, deflossing, and riddling of the cocoons. And in the B part, cocoon cooking, reeling equipment, and re-reeling, washing and polishing. We will see the A part of this lecture, that is stippling, sorting, storage, deflossing and riddling. First, stippling. The stippling is the process of killing the pupae without any way interfering with the structure of the silk cell. Drying kills the pupa and evaporates moisture that would otherwise ruin cocoons. Mechanism of stippling or the cocoon drying. Water content will vary according to the silkworm type, rearing season, and whether a cocoon is produced by male or female. Steam stippling is a common method. There are three methods of the stippling. These are sun drying, steam stippling, and the hot air stippling. First, sun drying. The cocoons are exposed to the scorching action direct sunlight till the pupa inside is killed and dried. Sun-dried cocoons are very light to produce a rattling sound on shaking. The advantage of this method, advantage of sun drying, is the cheap merit of stippling by sun drying is that it is cheaper method, easy, and dried cocoons can be reeled immediately. But there is one disadvantage. Sunlight and intensity of the light may not be sufficient, and the duration, it may not continue in all season and in all areas. It also affects the quality of the silk. Steam stippling, steam stippling. Hot steam is used for the stippling. Depending upon the number of cocoons to be stippled, basket steaming, barrel steaming, chamber steaming is done. First, basket steaming. The basket steaming, this is used when there is a small number of cocoons are to be stippled. About 10 to 15 kilogram of cocoons are loosely filled in a basket, which is loosely woven at the bottom. The mouth of the basket is closed with a tightly stretched thick cloth, which is tied to the sides of the basket. The basket with the cocoon on the water in a vessel, which is heated by firewood or oven. The steam penetrates through the basket and stifles the cocoons. Heating is stopped when the dense smoke starts coming out of the sides of basket with a characteristic smell of the stifled cocoons. B. Barrel steaming. Barrel steaming. This method adapted for small and moderate amounts of cocoons. It is superior to the basket steaming. Basket stippling, as it is less time consuming and ensures more uniform steaming as it is done under closed condition. A metal barrel with a tight fitting lid is used for the steam production. It has an elevated platform on its bottom. Water is filled to 2/3 the height of the platform and heated from the oven below. when the barrel is closed with the lid and cocoons are stifled in 10 to 15 minutes. Third type, chamber steaming. This method is used when there are large pillager units which enormous amounts of cocoons have to be stifled. Using huge chamber supplied with steam, does it from the main boiler unit by a steam pipe. Steam supply to the chamber can be regulated by valves on the outside of the chamber steam pipes. The chambers are provided either with permanently fixed cocoon cells or portable cells. Stippling is done within 15 to 20 minutes, after which the stifled cocoons are unloaded and fresh supply loaded. In the second one, the loading and unloading time is less. Advantage of chamber steaming: cocoons are stippled more uniformly. Stippling can be done in all seasons. Large quantities of cocoons can be killed. Disadvantages of chamber steaming is it kills only the pupa but doesn't dry it. The cocoons cannot be reeled immediately as the servicing will be wet and fibrin comes in lumps during stippling. Steam stippled have to be dried for at least 3 days before reeling. This is called seasoning. If they are not dried properly, the wet stippled pupa starts decomposing and the fluid oozing out spoils and stains the cocoons nearby. These cocoons are called as the melted cocoons. Fungus growth easily occurs on wet cocoons kept in poorly ventilated rooms. During seasoning, steam stippled cocoons have to be sprayed in these layers and repeatedly turned to ensure uniform drying to prevent molds. This requires extra pace and labor. Hot air conditioning. This method is adapted serves to both stippling and drying process together by hot air conditioning. The unit for this has the following: chamber in which the cocoons are conditioned, heating element which heats the air, an air blower which blows or circulates the heated air into the conditioning chamber. Hence, it is unsuited for the continuous operation. The modified one has the uniform continuous operations and quick conditioning. The topmost chamber will be at 50 degrees Celsius, second 30 degrees Celsius, third 75 to 80 degrees Celsius, and fourth 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. The fourth is an unloading chamber, separating from fifth chamber by a fixed partition. Modification in the heating elements include the presence of baffles inside. They increase their contact with the air current produced by the blower. The air blower has the arrangement of adjusting the speed of airflow. Advantage of the hot air conditioning: the hot air completely dries the cocoons so that the wet reduces to 1/3 of the original wet. This method is suitable for handling small, moderate and large amount of fresh cocoons. Very large amounts of cocoons are stifled, passed through the chambers quickly, and also partly conditioned once may again be recycled for further full conditioning. The operation is continuous. The entire process is electrically operated, and hence less labor is required. Disadvantage of the hot air conditioning: the equipment is costly and suitable for only very large establishments. Repair, maintenance as well as operation requires skilled laborers with technical knowledge. This is suitable only for very good quality and uniform sized cocoons. Other methods of stippling in infrared rays: one step drying cellar method, by cold air, by cold air, by radio waves, by poisonous gases. However, these methods are not commercially adapted. Next point is the sorting of cocoons. Farmers remove the defective cocoons as well as the double cocoons before taking the produce to the market. There may be small percentage of defective cocoons which would have escaped preliminary sorting. Hence, the cocoons requires a second sorting to ensure uniform good quality cocoons for re-reeling. The type of defect generally encountered in the second sorting are doubled cocoons, crushed and stained cocoons, cocoons with prints of cocoonage frame, flimsy cocoons, and insect damaged cocoons, thin celled cocoons, and moldy cocoons. Method of sorting: the cocoons are sprayed out on tablets with low partitions and the defective and doubled cocoons by peeked out by visual infection. The sorting room is generally located close to the cocoon stores and is provided with good ventilation and lighting. Rejecting cocoons are placed in a separate container. In advanced countries, the sorters detect even internally damaged cocoons and eliminate them by passing the cocoons over ground glass plates. Fluorescent light, or sometimes even in ordinary 60-watt lamp, Prost lamp, placed in a suitable position under a platform, provide the required illumination from below. When the defective cocoons containing decomposed pupae and those with the inside discolored pass over the glass plate, they are easily detected. The method of sorting not only enables through sorting but is economically and also since the sorting work is made easier from the workers. Cocoon mixing. Producing high grade raw silk, the kinds of cocoons graded in the visual inspection or the mechanical test are mixed in required proportion. This is called cocoon mixing or blending, cocoon blending, and is done to ensure speed and uniformity of reeling as well as to obtain the desired effect in raw silk. This sort of blending of cocoons has been found to be quite essential for ensuring a high degree of efficiency of automatic reeling machines. Storage of cocoons. Storage of cocoons. Storage of cocoons is an important problem, especially when the stifled cocoons must be stored for a very long period, as in the case of univoltine areas. When the seasonal conditions are unfavorable, complete desiccation of cocoons is a satisfactory solution to the problem. But even fully desiccated cocoons are liable to mold damage if the storage room is not kept dry. The other source of damage to cocoons in storage comes from the dermestid beetles. This beetle feeds on the fat contents of the pupae, and to do so, it cuts the silk cell and damages the cocoon. Care must be taken to see that waste cocoons and silk are stored as far away as possible from the cocoon stores. The walls and ceilings should be periodically disinfected. If insects are found in a package of cocoons, all the cocoons in the container should be passed through dry hot air at 60 to 70 degrees Celsius for some time till all the insects are killed in that temperature. Damage due to the molds. Molds develops when the cocoon store becomes damp and humid and when the cocoons are not fully dry, as in the case of partial conditioning or steaming. Hence, it is of utmost importance to prevent such conditions by taking the following precautions. Complete desiccation of cocoons before storing should be ensured. All care should be taken to see that the relative humidity in the storeroom does not rise about 70%. The storeroom must have good ventilation. Cocoons should be given regular and frequent turning during the period of storage, and on no account should they be allowed to become damp. When fumigants are used, care should be taken to keep the doors and windows open until all the traces of fumigants are removed. Thank you.